Welcome to Corporate Gita. Start with the prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vikantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Savana Lalita Shri Vishwathan Uthaksha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावन श्री विश्वभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. So welcome to Corporate Bhagavad Gita. We are reading the 9th chapter and 2 more verses for this to end. Last time we discussed till 34, not 34 I think. Okay, we completed this, I think. That's Parayana. I think we completed. So we'll start with the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So in the previous verse, Krishna says you should fix your mind upon me. Manmana madbhakto madhyaji namastu. Your mind should be always in thinking of me. Now how to do that? Right? How to do that? That is the question. So in the next chapter, Krishna explains how to do that. In this whole section, he's going to tell how to see, how he is in within everything. Okay, the aim of this chapter is how to see Krishna in all things. So just to give you, so this is from 10, 20 and 39. This is what we are going to read once we reach this section. It shows that among all the demigods, he is Indra. He is Vishnu among all the Adityas. He is Marut. Among the Maruts, he is Marichi. Among Rudras, he is Shiva. Among Yakshas and Rakshas, he is Kuvera. So it doesn't mean that he is Kuvera. It means that among these, the Kuvera is the topmost, and that topmost ability is given by Krishna. So one should see the divinity within all these things. The ability that is there within all of these things is coming from Krishna. And that's how one should be able to see Krishna everywhere. So the example is given of children's clothes or children's shoes. When you reach home and you see your child's shoes outside the door, do you remember your child? Do you remember your child when you see his or her shoes outside the door? When you go inside and you see their clothes, do you remember your child? Yes? Anyone? That's a very natural feeling. When we come to home, when we look at stuff, belonging to our children, or belonging to our wife or husband, we think about them. Similarly, all these things are there around us. The stars, the mountains, the immovable, the water bodies, trees, purifiers. Now, how to see Krishna in them? From the immovables, he is Himalaya. So we should know that, that these things don't move because Krishna is within them. So we connect everything to Krishna. Among the rivers, he is Ganga. The Ganga river is very sacred, holy river. So he is the one that is providing all that Ganga, and it is within that Ganga that he is providing the purifying effect of it. Like that. So all these things, how Krishna is within all this, is the topic of this chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita. And when we learn all this, we start seeing Krishna in all of these. In the vibration, the transcendental Om. In all Vedic mantras, it starts with Om, right? Om Keshvaya Namah, Om Narayana Namah. So that Om is, see, Krishna is saying, I am that. So when we say Om, we will be able to remember Krishna, because we connect it with Krishna. Among all the subduers, I am time. Time is that thing that subdues everyone. Subdues means it defeats, it controls everyone, right? This is, so who is controlling that ultimately? The time also is Krishna. Like that. Among wielder of weapons, how many weapons are there in this world? Rama was the expert in all of it. So if we see someone who is expert in weapons, we should remember Krishna, because he is the expertise behind it. Getting? So that's the aim of this chapter, to give us to help us see Krishna everywhere. Okay, so we'll get into this. The opulence of the absolute. Opulence means the vibhutis, the lavishness, the richness, the luxury, the riches, prosperity, prosperous, fortune. All these things is opulence. So where all the Supreme Lord is, and he is the main thing within that. So anywhere where it is opulent, powerful, beautiful, we can connect it to Krishna. Now recently all the Olympics have taken place, right? So you may have some favorite athletes. How will you connect that to Krishna? Can you tell me? Can you explain? When you see those athletes, how will you connect that to Krishna? Any explanation? Anyone? How will you connect the athletes to Krishna? See, when the athletes, they try so hard, when they are able to get that gold, silver, bronze, whatever, that ability that is given to them is given by Krishna. So you see Krishna in all the activities. Otherwise, what happens? Let's see, there are many people who don't connect things to Krishna. What happens to them? And they look at these Olympic players. How do they look at it? They look at it with definitely some awe and respect, and they worship the players, right? Like Sachin Tendulkar is what? God of cricket. So they kind of worship them. But when we connect to Krishna, what happens? We don't think they are God. We understand that the ability is coming from God. So that's a very refined thinking. That we know that the ability that these athletes are doing is coming from Krishna. And that's how we connect. That's how we give them their respect. The respect is in connection with Krishna. Otherwise, they will be blind following. They'll be blind following, and there'll be confusion that somebody is worshipping the athletes, but the athlete is not eternal, right? Do the athletes live forever? No, right? One day they have to go. Is their ability also ever? Like even when they are 60 years of old, will they run the 100 meters at the same speed? No. So that ability is taken away from them when they grow old. But when they are showing that ability, we connect it to Krishna. That opulence we connect it to Krishna because it is given by Krishna. Okay, so that's how we make the connection. Now, when we make this connection, we'll never forget Krishna. And we won't be attracted to anything other than Krishna. Why? Because we know the internal working of it. We know that the Krishna is providing all this ability. So our appreciation for Krishna increases. Okay. And we are not falling down to some false worship of gods. Oh, these athletes are great, and god of cricket or god of football or hand of God or something. No. We know who is God and how he is connected and how he is giving abilities to everyone. So that's how we get some clarity in our life. Any question? Any question before we go in? We jump in? Okay. Shri Bhagavan Bhuya eva mano mahabahu shunu me paramam vacha yatteham priyamana manayana yakshami hitakamaya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So whatever Krishna has explained, he is going to give better knowledge. Why? Because he actually giving a deeper understanding of what he has said. He says, you should fix your mind on me. But in this world, we get attracted to everything else. Right? We get attracted to everything else. So how can we fix? So then Krishna will explain now. The word Bhagwan is explained thus by Parashara Muni. One who is full in 6 opulences. One who has full 6 opulences. So here the meaning of the word Bhagwan was explained by Parashara Muni. He is the father of Vyasadeva. Parashara Muni, he says that Bhagavan means one who has 6 opulences. 6 vibhutis in full. In full means in infinite quantities. What is that? Strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, renunciation. When one has all the 6 full, then he is Bhagavan or Supreme Personality of God. Sri Krishna has full strength. How? How he has full strength? At the age of 8, he lifted Govardhan for 7 days. No one can equal it. Right? No one can equal it. He is maintaining all the universes. So he has full strength. Full fame. Krishna is the most famous in all the 3 Vedas. Everywhere he is famous. North, south, east, west. All big temples of Krishna are there. So he is famous. Wealth. He has thousands and thousands and thousands of Lakshmi. Lakshmi Devi serving him. And they provide him with everything. Wealth, everything. So he's all wealthy. Knowledge. Who is speaking Bhagavad Gita? Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita. Look at the depth of knowledge he has. And he says he is the compiler of Vedanta. So all the Vedas come through him. So he gives all the knowledge. Then beauty. Krishna is very beautiful. So beautiful that at the time of war, he was 100 plus years. Or maybe 90 years, whatever. And he was still looking like a young boy. 16-year-old young boy. And renunciation. Renunciation means one who is able to be detached. So Krishna has his whole world, everything belongs to him, but he is detached. He allows us to use it, right? He is completely detached. He is not. Um, we are also his part and parcels, but he gives us free will. So he's kind of detached, you know. So such six things, if they are in full infinite, then that is Bhagwan. Now let's say somebody has little of it. Then what happens? He has little bit strength, like the Olympic weightlifters, you know. They have they have quite good strength. 300 kgs, 400 kgs they are lifting up. Then they also become famous, right? They also become amazingly famous. Just with one gold, they become amazingly famous. If somebody has little more wealth, thousands of crores, or hundreds of crores, or even 10 crore, or even 1 crore, in the society, that person becomes very respectable. He earns a lot of respect, right? He earns a lot of attraction, respect, knowledge. Somebody is a PhD. He's also respected a lot. Beauty, actor, actresses. They don't have strength, but they have a lot of beauty. And and they also become the center of attraction. And renunciates. Those who give up. You know, they may not have strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, but those who give up, like Ramdev Baba, huh? He's also famous. He also earns so much respect, right? So even one may have little of these things, right? Then also he becomes very famous, very important person in the society. What to speak of when somebody has all of it by full? All of it in infinite quantity is only Shri Krishna Bhagavan. So whenever Krishna speaks, it is never Shri Krishna Vacha. What it is Bhagavan Vacha, Shri Bhagavan Vacha. This is a important thing to understand, and that in the whole of Mahabharata, when Krishna is speaking Bhagavad Gita, that time it is never written Shri Krishna Vacha. It is always written Shri Bhagavan Vacha because he is the Bhagavan. Now there are Ishwaras who also have a lot of strength, fame, beauty, and all that. They are also called Bhagavan, like Bhagavan Shiv, Brahma Bhagavan, Bhagavan Narayan. Sorry, Narayan and Narada. They also sometimes called Bhagavan. Why? Because they also have tremendous strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and then what is the difference between Krishna as Bhagavan and they as Bhagavan? Or Lord Shiva as Bhagavan? What is the difference? So in Bhagavatam, there's a verse that comes, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. You are the original Bhagavan. And then you give these opulences to the devatas, some devotees, and they also are called as Bhagavans, but then you are the original Bhagavan. You are the one who's giving them. So one is the source and one is the acceptor. You can say like that. On their own, they are not Bhagavan, but they have been given, then they become Bhagavan. So Lord Shiva, Bhagavan Shiv, Bhagavan Brahma, Brahma Bhagavan, and Narada, and so many others, like, they are given this kind of strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation, and then they are called as Bhagavan. But Krishna as Bhagavan is Param Bhagavan, Supreme Bhagavan. Okay, so he is supreme. That's why it is said Supreme Personality of God. Any questions? Anyone has any question you want to ask now? Okay. While Krishna was present on this earth, he displayed all six opulences. Therefore, the great sage like Parashara Muni have all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Now, Krishna is instructing Arjuna in a more confidential knowledge of his opulences and his work. Previously, beginning with the 7th chapter, the Lord has already explained his different energies and how they are acting. Now, in this chapter, he explains his specific opulences to Arjuna. In the previous chapter, he has clearly explained his different energies to establish devotion and firm conviction. Again, in this chapter, he tells Arjuna about his manifestation and various opulences. The more one hears about the Supreme God, the more one becomes fixed in devotion service. We should always hear about the Lord in the association of devotees. So we should hear about Krishna in the association of bhaktas. Why? If we hear about Krishna in the association of a bhakta, what happens? They may not give us the clear picture. They will tell all kinds of lies to us. Why? Because they are a bhakta. They are envious of Krishna. So they will tell something else about it. So we should learn it from the devotees only. That will enhance one's devotion service. Discourses in the society of devotees can take place only among those who are really anxious to be in Krishna consciousness. Others cannot take part in such discourses. The God clearly tells Arjuna that because Arjuna is very dear to him, for his benefit, such a discourse is taking place. So only with devotees we should talk about the opulences of Krishna. Na me vidu suragana prabhavam na maharshaya. Aham adi hi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashaha. Neither the host of demigods, see the devatas are used, no? Suragana. Suragana means devatas. Neither the host of devatas nor the great sages know my origin or opulences, for in every respect I am the source of the demigods and sages. See, this is what I was saying. That sometimes the devatas are also called as Bhagwan. But Krishna is Swayam Bhagwan. He is the source of all the devatas. Okay. And here he says that even the devatas, they don't know about him. Even the devatas, they don't know about him. So, we hear a lot of Krishna pastimes. So, there are two pastimes I am going to say. Govardhan Leela. So, what happens here is, once Krishna stops the worship of Indra who has 1,000 eyes on his body, okay. So he stops the worship of Indra in his village, that is Vrindavan. And then Indra gets angry on him. He says, you stop now everything and I will now destroy you. So he sends torrents of rain. Lots of rain he sends, and then Krishna lifts the Govardhan hill for 7 days, 7 nights. And nothing happens to the mountain. Mountain is not touched at all. Understanding this, Indra understands that Krishna is the same Vishnu that he worships. So he comes and he asks for forgiveness. So with that he brings cow, Surbi cow, because Krishna likes cow. Okay. And then he brings his elephant who does Abhishekam of Krishna. So doing this he seeks forgiveness. So the Devatas also don't know about Krishna. They get confused. How can this small boy be playing? So there's another pastime which is Brahma Vimohana Leela. Here what happens is, in Brahma worships 400 form of Vishnu. Okay, he worships 400 form of Vishnu, and he comes to know that Krishna has appeared on this earth. Vishnu has appeared on this earth. But then when he comes and he sees that children are playing, they are putting food in each other's mouth, and they are playing. So he gets confused. He says, my God Vishnu, he doesn't play. He doesn't play like that. He doesn't play like that. So he's not Vishnu. So what he does is he steals all the gopas, and after 1 year he comes back, and then he sees that Krishna is still playing with them. Krishna is still playing with them. So then Krishna tries to explain him. So then he becomes all the other gopas, everything, they become the 400 form of Vishnu. See, this is the Vishnu form that Indra knows. So when he knows that actually Krishna is that Vishnu who appeared, he seeks forgiveness. And there are very nice prayers of Brahma to Krishna. in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Devatas, they also don't fully understand Krishna. Krishna has to come and tell them. It's like that. So that's why Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that the hosts of demigods, the host of the Devatas, even great sages don't know me. Those great sadhus, they also don't know. Only very few sadhus knew that Krishna is the supreme. Narad Muni, Vyasadev, and just few more. And the other sadhus were also confused. Is this the supreme lord? Because when they experience Narayana or Vishnu in the Vaikuntha, they don't see him playing with boys. But here what happens in Vrindavan is that Krishna is playing with boys, he's playing with the gopis, he's playing with the cows, he's running here and there, his mother is shouting him, binding him, and they're confused. Is this the God? Is this the God that we worship? So then Krishna has to tell yes. And then he has to reveal himself. Any question? Okay. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Lord Sri Krishna is the supreme Lord. No one is greater than him and he is the cause of all causes. Here it is also stated by the Lord personally that he is the cause of all demigods and sages. Even the demigods and the word demigods means something different in English, okay, but it is little closer to devatas. But devatas means completely different. It's a devata species. It's not a human species. And the great sages, the Rishi Munis, cannot understand Krishna. They can understand neither his name nor his personality. Or so what is the position of the so-called scholars in this tiny planet? So the Devatas cannot understand, the Sadhus cannot understand, then what, common people or even the Sanskrit scholars, what is their position? So even they don't understand. So there is a literature called as Gita Govind. Gita Govind is a poem written by a great poet. I'm forgetting his name. Sridhar in Jagannath Puri, that is in Orissa. So he wrote this poem, and it's considered very Sanskrit wise. It's considered amazing. So there are some people who are Sanskrit scholars and they do PhD in that. Jaidev Goswami, yes, his name was Jaidev Goswami. So one such scholar, he did his PhD in Jaidev Goswami Geet Govind. PhD, it's so difficult. 4-5 years of tremendous study. Then you get the PhD. And one day he was talking with the bhaktas of Krishna and he said, I studied Geet Govind, but I don't understand why Krishna is doing like this. Why Krishna is, playing with the gopis. So the thing is, even such great scholars cannot understand Krishna. First, to understand Krishna, one has to study Bhagavad Gita. In that, one has to understand that, he is not the body but part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is the Paramatma. And with him, one can do yoga. And in the perfection of yoga, one can have relationships with him. So all these things need to be known, and that is only known through association with the Guru. Now modern scholars, they don't get association with the Gurus. They directly go to modern universities and with the help of Sanskrit they start translating. And they get a PhD among themselves. Do you know how one gets a PhD? Does anyone know how one gets a PhD? Anyone? See, just like, for graduation and all, some subjects are determined, right? But in PhD, it is little fluid. Okay, it's little fluid in sense that there are some subjects, but while doing PhD, you can do other subjects also. Okay. And then one studies those subjects in depth and he writes papers on it and then ultimately writes a thesis on it, 40 page, 50 page, 100 page, whatever. and then he presents what his thesis is. So he does it under a present PhD as his guide, and then 3-4 more PhDs come and they sit, and they have already read his thesis, and they sit for his uh, dissertation, his presentation basically. And if they like it, then they just say, okay, you get the PhD. That's how one gets PhD. There is no exam. The paper, the thesis, and all that is the exam. The presentation, everything, that is the exam. Getting? So such is their way of giving PhDs. How can they understand Krishna? Krishna can only be understood by the bhaktas. Bhaktya mam abhijanati. From the devotees only one can understand Krishna. This is a very important point, because in the outer world, in the outside world, people have many different conceptions of Krishna. Krishna is cunning, Krishna is historical person, Krishna is the greatest politician, Krishna is a cowherd boy, etc., etc. So they have these kinds of definition of Krishna, and then those are all incomplete definitions. The complete definition is only given by Brahma. What it is? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. The very first verse of Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita, is that Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sri Krishna is the known as Govinda, is the supreme Godhead. Parama Ishvara. He has eternal blissful spiritual body, and he is origin of all. Anadir Adir. He has no other origin, and he is the prime cause of all causes. He is the Sarva Karana Karana. Whatever is happening, whatever has happened, whatever is going to happen, everything cause is Krishna. Meaning he permits it, and he himself is the cause of it. Like that. So this is very important, okay? Because otherwise, there are many people outside who say that I have read Bhagavad Gita, I study Bhagavad Gita, this, that. But if we ask them, what about Krishna? Oh, no, Krishna is not important. This knowledge is important. Or some will say, no, Krishna is not important. The inside of Krishna is important. There is another statement that they will say. That is all wrong. The inside of Krishna, outside of Krishna is same. In this Gita Sammelan, Bhagavad Gita Sammelan, Krishna's photo won't be there. It will just be a lamp. You lit the lamp and then you speak on it and all that. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is important, but only Bhakta can explain this. You got it? Any question on this point? Yes? Any question? Okay, so we'll go forward. No one can understand why the Supreme God comes to earth as an ordinary human being and executes such wonderful, uncommon activities. One should know then that scholarship is not the qualification necessary to understand Krishna. Even the demigods and the great sages have tried to understand Krishna by their mental speculation. They have failed to do so. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also it is clearly stated that even the great devatas are not able to understand the Supreme Personal Godhead. They can speculate to the limits of their imperfect senses and can reach the opposite conclusion of impersonalism or something not manifested by the three qualities of material nature. Or they can imagine something by mental speculation which is not possible to understand Krishna by such foolish speculation. Here the Lord indirectly says that if anyone wants to know the absolute truth, here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here I am present as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I am the Supreme. One should know this. Although one can understand that the inconceivable Lord who is personally present, he is nonetheless exists. We can actually understand Krishna who is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge, simply by studying his words in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. The conception of God as some ruling power or as the impersonal Brahman can be reached by persons who are in inferior energy of the Lord, but the personality of God cannot be conceived unless one is in transcendental position. Because most of the men cannot understand Krishna in his actual situation, out of his causeless mercy, he descends to show favor to such speculators. So Krishna has to reveal himself, okay? Then only we'll understand. Otherwise, we won't be able to understand. Yet, despite the Lord's uncommon activities, these speculators, due to contamination in the material energy, still think that the impersonal Brahman is the supreme. So some think that the Brahma Jyoti is the supreme, but actually the Bhagavan aspect is the supreme. Only the devotees who is fully surrendered onto the Supreme Lord can understand by the grace of the Supreme Personal Godhead that he is Krishna. The devotees of the Lord do not bother about the impersonal Brahman conception of God. Their faith and devotion bring them to surrender immediately onto the Supreme Lord, and out of the causeless mercy of Krishna, they can understand Krishna. No one else can understand. So even great sages agree what is the Atma, what is Supreme, and it is He whom we have to worship. Okay. These few topics are very technical, so they have great philosophical basis. So that's why the purports are like this, they're very technical. Philosophically technical, okay. Yo mam ajam anadim sa veti lok maheshwaram asammuda samarteshu sarva pape pramuchate. He who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme lord of all worlds, he who undiluted among men is freed from all sins. One who knows Krishna is supreme is freed from all sins. Very simple. As stated in 7th chapter, Manushyanam sahasrita kaschid yatati siddhye. Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of self-realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. But out of those actually trying to understand the spiritual situation, one who comes to the understanding that Krishna is the supreme personal Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritually realized person. In that stage, only one who has fully understood Krishna's supreme position can one be free from all sinful reactions. So just by understanding Krishna is supreme, we become free from all sinful reactions. Here the Lord is described with the word Aja. Aja means unborn. But he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the 2nd chapter as Aja. See, living entities are also Aja. Aja means unborn. We are also unborn. We have come from Krishna's body, but we are not taken birth. We are there with him. But how come he is also Aja, we are also Aja? Then what is the difference? One is source. Our source is Krishna. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but this body is not changeable. But his body is not changeable. Okay, second thing is, we get bodies, we change bodies. Krishna don't change bodies. His body is eternal. Even when he comes to this material world, he comes in the same unborn. Therefore, in the 4th chapter, he said that the Lord by his internal potency is not under the inferior material energy, but always in the superior energy. Okay, it doesn't come by the internal potency, that is, it comes by the internal potency, Yoga Maya. But that is a superior energy. And he is superior to that also. In this verse, the way Veti Loka Maheshwaram indicates that one should know that the Lord Sri Krishna is a supreme proprietor of the planetary system of the universe. He was existing before the creation and he is different from his creation. All the demigods are created within the material world. But as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva. See, Brahma and Shiva are created. Okay, Brahma came from the navel of Vishnu. Shiva came from the head of Brahma. Okay, but Krishna, he appears by himself. He doesn't have to come through some agency. It appears that he took birth from Devaki, but that is the way of coming, but that is not controlling him. And because he is the creator of Brahma and Shiva and all the demigods, he is the supreme person of all planets. Sri Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him such immediately will become liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful reactions to be in the knowledge of Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known, and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. One should not try to understand Krishna as human being. So this is one problem with modern speculators that they think that Krishna is human being. We already read Krishna is Parama Ishvara. Ishvara Parama Krishna. So then how come he is just human being? Human being is not at all Param in any way. His Ishvara capability is also limited. He can control little things. Krishna is controlling everything. As stated previously, only a foolish person thinks him to be a human being. That is again expressed here in a different way. The man who is not foolish, who is intelligent enough to understand constant position of Godhead, is always free from all sinful reactions. If Krishna is known as son of Devaki, then how can he be unborn? That is also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. When he appeared before Devaki and Vasudeva, he was not born as an ordinary child. He appeared in his original form and then transformed himself into an ordinary child. So when he appeared in his original four-handed form. Four-handed Vishnu with gold, silver and crown and gada and sword. I mean, any baby you have seen such thing like this? No, right? So he was not born like that. Okay. Anything done under the direction of Krishna is transcendental. It cannot be contaminated by material reactions, which may be auspicious or inauspicious. The conception are that they are things auspicious, inauspicious in the material world is more or less a mental concoction. Because there is no auspiciousness in the material world. Everything is inauspicious because the material world, nature is inauspicious. We simply imagine to be auspicious. Real auspiciousness depends on the activities in Krishna consciousness in full devotion and service. Therefore, if we all want our activities to be auspicious, then we should work under the directions of the Supreme Lord. Such directions are given in authoritative scriptures such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, or from a bona fide spiritual master. So we should learn from the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Guru. Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. We should learn things from them about Krishna. Because Supreme Master is the representative of the Supreme Lord, Spiritual Master. Because Spiritual Master is representative of Supreme Lord, his direction is directly the direction of Supreme Lord. The Spiritual Master, saintly person and scriptures direct in the same way. There is no contradiction in these three sources. All actions done under such directions are free from the reactions of pious and impious activities of this material world. The transcendental attitudes of the devotees in the performance of activities actually that of renunciation, and this is called sannyas. As stated in the first verses of 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one who acts as a matter of duty because he has been ordered to do so by the Supreme Lord and who does not seek shelter in the fruits of the activities is a true renouncer. Anyone acting under the direction of the Supreme Lord is actually a sannyasi and a yogi, and not who simply just taken the dress of a sannyasi or a pseudo yogi. So this word sannyasi means what? This word sannyasi means one who is doing his duty under the direction of Supreme Lord and he is not attached to his fruits. That is a sannyasi and a yogi. Those who wear just clothes of sannyasi, they are supposed to do all these things, okay? But they don't do these things. And those who are not in sannyasi, they are married. If they do these things, then they are also sannyasis. Even though being in married life. Okay. Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Shama Satyam Dama Sama Shama Samaha Sukham Dukkham Bhavo Bhavo Bhayam Chabhyam Evacha Ahimsa Samta Tushtistapo Dhyanam Yasho Yashas Bhavanti Bhavat Bhutana Matta Eva Prithak Vidaha. Okay. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt, delusion, forgetfulness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of the mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy, all these varieties of qualities of living entities are created by me alone. So all these qualities are created by whom? Krishna. The different qualities of living entities, be it good or bad, are all created by the Lord, Sri Krishna, and described here. So now each and everything will be described. Intelligence, everything. Okay. Intelligence. Intelligence refers to power to analyze things in a proper perspective. And knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Pretty straightforward definition. Intelligence is used to analyze. Knowledge is to understand what is spirit, what is matter. Now, what is matter? What is matter? Can you tell me? What is material knowledge? What is spiritual knowledge? Anyone? Material knowledge we know, right? Physics, chemistry, mathematics, economics, finance, etc., etc. Medical, astrology, astronomy, Ayurveda, allopathy. All this is material knowledge. What is spiritual knowledge? Dealing with spirit. You are not this body, your soul, part and parcel of Krishna. You can never die. You take bodies, karma. Karma gives you next bodies. Yoga, the knowledge of yoga. All that comes in spiritual knowledge. Ordinary knowledge obtained by university education pertains only to matter, physics, chemistry, mathematics, and it is not accepted here as knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. Okay. Distinction we should know, okay, what is spirit, what is matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Okay, because in our throughout our education, we are never taught about soul, right? So only material knowledge is given. Asammoha. Asammoha means freedom from doubt and delusion. Can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands transcendental philosophy. Asammoha means freedom from doubt and delusion, meaning somebody who is at a very high level of spirituality. Okay, he is not hesitant even in the time of death. Even in the time of death, he is not hesitant. Okay, and he understands the transcendental philosophy, the spiritual philosophy. Slowly but surely, he comes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and caution. Shama. Shama means tolerance, forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. This is very important, okay? But again, if a king can also forgive, but most of the time he may not forgive because sometimes the offense is too harsh. You know, person may be a criminal, a rapist, and therefore the king cannot show forgiveness. But a devotee has to show forgiveness. A devotee has to show tolerance. Minor offenses are okay. Major offenses is a problem. Satyam. Satyam means truthful, means the facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one should speak truth only when it is palatable to others. So, you know, sometimes somebody may die or something, and then we have to tell that truth. You know, so we should say it in such a way that it becomes palatable to others. That is another thing. And then we should say it sometimes indirectly also. You know, bringing the person to a proper state of mind and then telling it. So to make it palatable, that is a skill. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. Okay, truth should be spoken straightforwardly, but it should not be hidden. Okay, it should not be hidden. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is a thief, then that is the truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the fact be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. So you present the facts for the benefit of others. Control of senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. There is no prohibition against meeting the proper needs of the senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detriment. See, our senses, they need something, right? They need food, they need touch, they need smell. But one should not run after the material things, material objects. Like I have this picture. Senses do need certain things. But when we give it only which is being offered to Krishna, then they are subdued. Okay? Then they are subdued. So that's what it means by controlling of senses. Last time we discussed on the tortoise, right? Which has all its hands and legs outside in the temple. Which says that within the temple, use your senses. And when you go outside, then you pull it back. Only use it when it's needed. But in the temple, you should use all your senses. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called shama. This word sham. Okay. Shama. Shama. Okay. Shama. Okay. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is misuse of thinking power. Any comment on this statement? Do you agree with this statement? One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. That is misuse of thinking power. How many of you agree with this statement? How many of you don't agree with this statement? Can anyone speak?
Uh,
Huh?
it is difficult to speak. Mhm.
So the thing is, right? See, sometimes we have to spend time on earning money, right? How to earn money, plans we have to make, and all that.
Yeah.
So everything has to be done with yukta, regulated. See, the thing is, this statement doesn't mean that there should be zero time spent on pondering money. Okay, it doesn't say that zero. What it says is you should not spend too much time of it. Some regulation should be there. See, the word misuse is used. Misuse means you have to use it, right? And there are certain ways that you don't use it. So when somebody is thinking about it day night, then that is a misuse. Some time of the day you have to think, because of you have to invest, you have to do this thing, this planning and all that sometime. But then there are some people who will keep thinking about it 24 hours a day. That is a problem. That is misuse. Getting? The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human being, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thought should be developed in association with persons who are authorities in scriptures. So we should spend time with authorities and saintly people and spiritual masters in thinking about what is given in the philosophy. Sukham means pleasure, happiness should always be in what is being that which is favorable for cultivation of spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. This is the principle of surrender. If we are listening to somebody, we are basically taking everything that is favorable for Krishna consciousness and rejecting which is not favorable. This is the sign of advancement. If somebody is able to do this, then he's advancing in his bhakti, in his spiritual life. Getting? Okay. So long purport. It's already 2 p.m. So let's stop here. Let's open up for some questions or comments. Any questions or comments? Any questions or comment?
Prabhuji, for Indra narration, like he is demigod of high level, and
Yeah.
he is a worshipper of Vishnu, Krishna. Still, he could not recognize the Lord when he came for his pastime.
Yeah.
So, so how do we like because Indra, he is the king of gods, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what they say. So why he was not so much aware of Supreme Lord's activities?
Why?
Why he was not aware of the Supreme Lord's activities?
See, they all did pray for the Supreme Lord to appear.
Yeah.
And Krishna told, I will appear. Okay. And
Yeah.
then he was secretly taken to Vrindavan. Now we in Krishna book know where Krishna went. Right?
Mm.
Did anyone know about it?
Who?
Did anyone
No,
else know about it?
no problem. No.
No. See, because we know, because Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, therefore we know. Okay. It so happened that Krishna was born and he was replaced with another Krishna who was born in Vrindavan. Or he was replaced with
Maya. Yeah.
Subhadra. Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, not Subhadra, but Maya Devi. That is
Maya.
right. Right? So, so this story is revealed to us. Okay. It was not known to, otherwise Kamsa would know it, right? The very next day he would have gone to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. Yes or no?
Yes. Prabhu, yes.
But he didn't knew. Exchange happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is the thing that um, the Srimad Bhagavatam is revealing to us, but it didn't
Mm.
reveal at that point 5,000 years ago. It was not revealed to anybody. Only Vasudev
Yes.
knew that he went to Vrindavan and exchanged Krishna with Maya Devi
Maya.
or Durga Devi, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Prabhu. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it is like this.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question or comment? Okay. So no more questions.